Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows that QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets and when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only.
What's up, everybody, and welcome in. This is FST Fantasy Sports Today. My name's Matt Stryker. His name's George Kurtz, and this is the place for those that want to dominate, whether it be season-long fantasy, we've got you covered. Still playing DFS? Cool. We won't let you leave any money on the table. Straight-up wagering? Again, we've got you covered. At SportsGrid, at SportsGrid TV, those are our social media handles. Make sure you're following along. Folks, I am so excited for this show. A, baseball's right around the corner, but B, we get to talk to a man that has been playing fantasy baseball, fantasy sports for over 30 years, over 3 decades, longer than our producer and our TD have been alive, longer than many people that walk the great halls of this wonderful network have been breathing God's green air. George Kurtz, come on in, my friend. I think the best part of this world is that wisdom stands out over all the talking heads, and you, my friend, you bring a ton of wisdom. What's up?
You know what wisdom equals? Wisdom equals old. That's what wisdom equals, okay? It means age, means you're up there. All right, that's what it does. Listen, I love fantasy. Always have loved fantasy, right? To me, one of my best days of the year is draft day, right? Because you get to open your presents. And there are a lot of drafts going on this weekend. You got March Madness, of course, going on as well here. So good luck managing both of those. But we have this is how crazy I am. I was actually doing the math yesterday of how many hours until opening day. It's 103, by the way, right now. All right, till the Yankees and Brewers open up. Not the Cincinnati Reds this year, as Craig and I discussed yesterday, but the Yankees and Brewers open up on Thursday afternoon at about 3:10 Eastern time here. So, yes, I look forward to baseball here. It's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint here, and we're about to get started.
All right. I like how you put that there. It's like Christmas Day, opening up your presents. I like that. I'm going to use that. Let's do that right now. Folks, let's start opening up some presents. George's been around a long time, long enough to know that right around now, a few days before the season, some injury news breaks, and sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. Some quick updates. Guys like Ryan Weathers to hit the IL for Miami, Yu Darvish as well. And these are things that we usually know, so I'm sure not too many people investing too much. But some other news like Kyle Gibson signing with, I believe, the Braves, Meade making the team with Tampa. These are all questions and answers that bring us to start this segment, George. We're going to go through right now the American League, the East, and start with some team win totals and then some targets that aren't so obvious. So I mentioned Tampa. Let's start in the East, and let's start with their main rival, the New York Yankees. Now, with the Garrett Cole injury, The Yankee win total, now you can find it at 89.5. Some players that I think are going to need to excel for the Yankees to win 90 games are guys like Jason Dominguez and Cody Bellinger. Talk to me a bit about the Yankees, their win total, and who needs to do what for them to hit this.
Yeah, to exceed their win total here, now it was 92.5 before the Cole injury here. I took the under on that anyway. Just have a little bit doubts about the Yankees this year going in, and now it's down to lost 3 games because of Cole. Their problem is there's no depth there in the starting pitching. All right, if one of those guys gets hurt, and we know that's going to happen, right? They're going to have some issues here, especially if it's in the early going before Louis Heel is ready to return, which I'm guessing somewhere late June, July, we might see him back here. You got Stroman, who we know can't go the whole season, right? He's a five and fly guy, and that's it. Will Warren, who knows what's going to get out of him? Carrasco, great spring, who knows? All right, so the Yankees are going to have some problems in the pitching department. They're going to need reinforcements eventually. You mentioned the offense, and Dominguez, Volpe, Wells, the young players. They need them to take that next step. I think Bellinger's going to be fine. I know I have a total of over 20.5 home runs. At least Sam told me yesterday it's now up to 21.5. Bellinger, Yankee Stadium, I don't see how he doesn't hit that. All right, he should hit that very well. So I think he'll be fine. Can Goldschmidt rebound? All right, he had a terrible year last year. 3/4 of the year were terrible. Last quarter, good, which is the truth here. Yankees, I guess, are hoping for something in between here. And maybe the most important thing for the Yankees, Matt, what did the Dodgers say that the scouting report was on the Yankees? You play them, they'll beat themselves. And that's so true. They don't play very good fundamental baseball, a lot of errors, a lot of base running mistakes. They beat teams because they were better, not because they played better. Did they fix that? Gleyber Torres was a big problem with that. All right, he's gone now, so maybe that helps there. But the Yankees need to play better baseball. Staying healthy will be key for the Yankees.
All right, let's keep this train moving and talk about the Yankee rivals. Everyone's their rival, really, but especially in the East. Baltimore Orioles, looking at the win total now that I see in front of me, is 87.5. I do think that's attainable. And I think while everyone is poking at all the big names, a guy like Cedric Mullins is a guy that I would target because he gives you speed, gives you power, gives you everything you need. And I do believe he'll hit third in the lineup or somewhere like that. And if you're looking for a reliever, I think Bautista, I think he bounces back, and I think one of those guys he's worth reaching for. George, your thoughts on the O's?
All right, the rest of this division is all pretty much close here. I'm going to start with the pitching with the O's again. Now, this is where Kyle Gibson signed with, by the way. So he gives them another depth start. He was actually, for Kyle Gibson was good last year. All right, he's not an SP1, he's not an SP2. He's a depth starter, 3-4 guy here. And they have a lot of these guys. But you saw the problem here for the Orioles. You let Burns go, and I thought that was a huge mistake here, not to have someone who can sort of drive that starting staff here. You got Zach Eflin. You got Charlie Morton, who just never dies. I mentioned Gibson, Kramer, Sagano, the Japanese import there. The key here could be Grayson Rodriguez. Right? He was shut down in spring, had the injury. They're hoping that they're ramping him back up now, shoulder. Maybe he can pitch in late April, but that's a big maybe here. And even if he does pitch, is he the same Grayson Rodriguez? So we'll see about that. Felix Bautista, by the way, they're saying he may not be ready for opening day. Gunnar Henderson as well, by the way. So these are minor things, by the way. They're going to play in maybe next week, maybe it's mid-April, whatever it might be. They're coming back. Let's keep that in mind here. They may not quite be ready this week. They may be a couple of days behind here. As for the offense, outside of Gunnar and maybe another guy or two, there's a lot of guys in the same boat here. Kowser, Holiday, Westberg, Tyler O'Neill. There's a lot of guys for very few spots. O'Hearn, Mountcastle. They can't all play. And I think there's pressure on them. If you don't play well right away, we're going to the next guy. We have so many good young guys. Let's go on to the next guy. So keep that in mind as well. And none of these guys may play every day. You may get guys playing, 5 out of 7 days. That sort of thing. So I might be careful there with the Baltimore Orioles. Lots of good young talent. If you have players on them, you will hope they would have rectified this during the offseason by maybe trading some guys for pitching, but they did
not. Pitching, he says, which is important. And that brings us to our next grouping of teams here. The Boston Red Sox are next on our list with a projected win total of 86.5. I think this is going to be a really good team. And I like guys at the bottom of the order of this team, like Ceddanne Rafaela. I think he gives you a lot of ability. And when Brian Bayo comes back healthy, I think the staff is really impressive. Talk to me a little bit about the Red Sox.
Love what they've done here. My only Red Sox sort of like the Yankees, though. Not a lot of depth in that pitching. The hitting, they're going to rake. All right, they're going to score a lot of runs here. But the pitching is iffy here. Crochet, great addition here. Houck, fine. Bellows already banged up. Giolito banged up. Crawford banged up here. Walker Buehler, Matt, what are we getting from him? I don't know. I just don't know here, but I'm a believer. Fantasy-wise, Matt, I'm a believer. He's on like half my teams. So I'm a big believer in Wilker Buehler. Offense, listen, you got Rafael Devers, who, once again, I wouldn't surprise if he gets up to a slow start in April. But if he does, by the way, it might be someone you might want to target to trade. I think he'll be fine long-term, but April's slow start. Bregman's going to do great things there at Fenway, always has great numbers. Duran is good. They're going to rake. Like I said, I have a ticket on them to win the American League East once Cole went down.
Wow, there you go. All right. With the time that we have remaining, we'll talk a little bit about the Tampa Rays, a win total of 81.5. I think a guy like Yandy Diaz is a target. McClanahan injury status is something that we really are concerned with. And then touch a little bit on the Jays, and then we'll go to break.
Yeah, we heard yesterday McClanahan, the triceps injury here, definitely going to miss the start of the season here. He's having tests. Triceps injury is not good. All right, we'll find out what that's going to be here. Listen, I hope he's not hurt long term, but we saw the replay. He came out with immense pain as soon as he threw that pick. That's not good. We'll see what's going on there. Tampa Bay, if he's out, I don't expect much from them. We know that schedule is awful for them because they play a lot of games at home to start the season, and then a lot of road games after that. I can't see that working out. Toronto, I like. Can they put it all together? The Vlad situation is going to be huge here. If they do get to a slow start, do they trade him by the deadline?
Ooh, all of this and more when we return. More with George Kurtz. We're going to go to the American League Central.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back into FST Fantasy Sports Today. Matt and George with you here, and I don't know what is going on in our control room, but our producer must be super excited. A lot of ruckus going on, as my grandma would say, between our TD Jake and our producer Sam Y, the sports guy. But that's what we have, man, because baseball is upon us. Matt and George are breaking everything down that you need. I know a lot of people are getting ready to draft if you already haven't. George, we talked about the AL East. Let's keep the train moving. Talk about the American League Central. I often say the American League Central is like one of those discount stores. We liken it to Marshall's and Filene's Basement. You're going to find great stuff at a much better price than you will those big box department stores. Let's look at the Minnesota Twins here, a win total of 84.5. I think they can do that if they stay healthy. A new look for the Twins. They put a power guy like Matt Wallner at the top. Then you got a guy like Willie Castro, great utility guy at the bottom, probably hit 7th. And they have a lockdown closer. It's their pitching that worries me. George?
I'm worried about the whole team as well. I'm not worried about the starting pitching. All right.
Really?
It's a pretty solid group here. Lopez, Ryan, Ober. Listen, the depth guys, all right, Paddock, I don't know what you're going to get out of him. Simeon, Woods, Richardson. But every team's going to have that problem. But the top three is a good, solid top three. Their offense, you want to play a game at a bar, name me 3 Minnesota Twins offensive players. I mean, it gets a little rough here. All right. France is first baseman. Okay. I'm not so sure I would have known that. Castro at second. Another one. All right. You're going to know Carlos Correa. You're going to know Byron Buxton for the, the 38 games he plays this season. But that's not even a joke. That's about what he's probably going to play. Right? He gets hurt 18 times a season here. And Royce Lewis is following right in those footsteps. Another really good player. What you and I talked about during the break here? What's the most important ability in fantasy? Availability. Right. He ain't got it. He just doesn't have it. He's hurt already, going to start on the IL. So I think that pitching is going to be fine here, but the offense is going to be troublesome. Trevor Lawrence is one of your outfielders. You mentioned Wallner. Not household names here. Not guys you want to grab in fantasy. They don't have anybody offensively that you're looking to grab here in, the first 10 rounds of fantasy? And that's probably being kind to you. You probably go deep with maybe Ryan Jeffers could be a starting catcher, but even that's lower end here as far as catchers is concerned. And by the way, can we stop playing in 2 catcher leagues here? Why?
I don't know. People
never
are
understand
still
that.
doing it. I really don't. I guess people are glutton for punishment. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's continue on here. Calling for people's heads. The Cleveland Guardians is my pick to win this division. I think they're going to win more than 83 games, fact, with that pitching staff and that bullpen. And I'm targeting guys like Gavin Williams and obviously Emmanuel Clase. There's only a few players for whom I'll reach. He's one of them. I like Lane Thomas. I think that finally Ramirez gets some help, and there's some young players coming here as well. Your thoughts on Cleveland, George?
I do not have them to win the division. I think they'll be there, mind you, probably a playoff team again, but not to win the division. Although I do love, as you said, their pitching staff is definitely the best in the division, maybe one of the best in the league here, as far as their overall staff here. Tanner Bibby got the contract extension yesterday, right? The 5-year, I want to say $48 million, if I remember correctly there. So he got the bag for him. Good for him. I am with you on Gavin Williams, a guy who struggled last year coming back from injury, but looks good this spring. I think he'll take that next step. Keep in mind, we're talking SP3. I'm not saying, oh my God, go out and get him in round 4, but I think this guy's going to do better than last year. Ortiz, Lively, Logan Allen also pitching better this spring than he did last year. Nice little revival here. You mentioned protection for Jose Ramirez. He's Jose Ramirez. He's fantastic here. He's great. 4th overall pick in most fantasy leagues. I do like Lane Thomas as well. You can get a steal sort of later on here. We all need a million outfielders. They traded for Nolan Jones yesterday. Right, yes, that was the big news that came down last night. And when I say big news, it was the big baseball news. Nolan Jones was awful last year, of course. Awful. I know, because I had him on a couple of teams, and I had many 4-letter words I directed at Nolan Jones here. Going back to Cleveland, where he once was, don't see big things. I'm not dying to get him here. And that's sort of the problem here. Carlos Santana, maybe a corner infielder. Kwan, all right, outfielder, but doesn't. Great start last year. He died at the end. Rocio at shortstop. There's not a lot. There's not much special here after Ramirez. So that's going to be their struggle. A lot of 3-2, 4-3 baseball games.
All right, that's how we'll wager on them. We'll watch those run lines for the Guardians as the season rolls on. Let's motor on to Detroit. 83.5 is their win total. Gleyber Torres comes aboard. I like that addition. I think Reese Olson is the pitcher I'm targeting while everyone's waiting in line for Tariq Skubal. George, your thoughts?
This is sort of like a lot of teams in this division. Really good pitching, hitting not so much. All right, we know Skubal's great. Flaherty, okay. Serviceable veteran there. We'll see what Casey Mize, who I'm interested in. I want to see what Casey can become. More interested as a baseball fan than I am as a fantasy player here. But we'll see what he can become. Jackson Jobe as well. The good young pitchers that they used to have, we'll see if they develop. Offensively, you're playing the game again. There's this... name me their starting shortstop. Name me an outfielder. I like the addition of Gleyber Torres as well, but you can get him late in drafts. People are not drafting him. Love Riley Green, by the way. He is a target of mine as an outfielder, too. Sort of guy who can do it all here. A little bit of power, a little bit of speed here. I like Riley Green a lot, but this team is going to struggle to score runs. Like Cleveland, a lot of 2-1, 3-2, 4-3 ball games coming up.
All right, let's continue on in the American League Central, and I think I'm on an island here. The Kansas City Royals, their win total is 83.5. After Bobby Witt, I don't see anything for this team. I mean, yeah, Cole Reagans is a pitcher. If Jack Caglione comes up, he'll start the season in the minors. you just pitch around Bobby Witt. I don't believe in Kansas City. George, do you?
Well, once again, here's what we're talking about. The whole division's like this. All right. Although I like Pasquantino, but he got hurt yesterday. He could start the season on the IL. I want to say hamstring, but that's once again, we don't know any information about that yet. So just be careful today. Salvador Perez is going to hit you 25 home runs like he does every year. So he'll be fine. Jonathan India, I like that addition for Kansas City. Miguel Garcia, not much special there. The outfield, there's nothing there. All right. Listen, to compete for the World Series, they're a bat or two short, no doubt here. But the whole division's like this. All right. I do like this staff here. You got Cole. We know he's great. Seth Lugo, better than we think here. He's a really good SP3 there for fantasy. Michael Walker, Lorenzen Bubick, depth guys here. I like Kansas City to win this division.
All right. The time that we have left, I want you to do a deep dive on the Chicago White Sox. Do they win more than 53 and a half games? I mean, their targets for me are guys that are still in the minors. So close us out on the White Sox.
Their targets for me maybe guys who are in the womb. Okay, this is a bad team, boys and girls. Louis Robert, is he going to be traded? That's really the news for the White Sox there. Thorpe's going to have Tommy John surgery. He's done for them. Sean Burke, the ex-Devils goaltender, is going to start opening day for you there. This is just ugly. Burke, Martin, Perez, Cannon, Shane Smith. No, White Sox are a bad team here. Like I said, where Louis Robert ends up is the only thing I'm curious about with the Chicago White Sox.
All right, we'll pick on the Sox in our wagering. We're talking with George Kurtz, fantasy baseball veteran. When we come back, we're going west, the American League West, after this.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back into FST Fantasy Sports today with Matt and George. We're getting a great response on social media. Keep it coming. At SportsGrid, at SportsGrid TV. George, let's look at the American League West. Let's talk about these Houston Astros. Win total projected of 87.5. I think they can beat that. Guys like Isaac Paredes, Yanier Diaz, Hunter Brown. These are some of the names I'm looking for in drafts. Talk to me about the Stros.
Yeah, pitching staff was kind of deep there. Framber's been complaining that they're not going after for a contract extension. He'll be a free agent next year. So we'll see what happens there. But he's still a decent pitcher. Valdez, Brown, Arrighetti. Garcia's got elbow problems again. He may be done already. Blanco, we'll see if McCullers. But A good solid staff here. They might have some depth issues with some injuries here. Offensively, I think they're going to be fine, as you're sort of mentioning here. Walker's got the oblique day-to-day. Should be good for opening day, but that's a little iffy here. The Altuve experiment moving to left field is interesting. He's dropping balls out there. They must really be – either they want Dubon to play second base badly or they just think Altuve can't do it anymore. We'll see how that works out here. Paredes at third. I think he'll be fine. Pena at short. Myers and McCormick. Their offense isn't what it once was, right? You lost Tucker, so every offense is going to suffer there. Remember, no Tucker there. Alvarez is there, of course. They need Alvarez to have a big year this year.
I agree. All right, let's stay in the state. Give me a blurb or two on the Texas Rangers, a win total of 85.5. I think they can surpass that. Guys like Jake Berger with dual position eligibility and a nice pitching staff.
Man, that pitching staff is held together by, one string. You're starting to pull that string. Eovaldi goes down. I mean, come on, Matt. How many stars do we think DeGrom's making here? What's your over-under? 14 and a half?
I was going to say 12. Okay, fine.
Yeah, 12 and a half. I'm good. Right. I said I would probably take the under at 14 and a half. He goes down here, or Eovaldi goes down, or they both go down. This is all over but the crying. All right, what are you going to get out of Jack Leiter? What are you going to get out of Kumar Rocker? These are guys you might take a flyer on late in your draft here, see what happens. But we don't know what's going to. We don't know what's going to go on there. There is some noise, by the way. Jack Leiter could be their future closer. Not really what they drafted him for, but that's where he could be. They need to hit. All right, they need Adolis Garcia to have a rebound year for this team. Corey Seager, stay healthy for a year. Guy never gets cheated on his swings. I like their Rangers to win the division right now, but like I said, that team is held together by duct tape and Elmer's glue.
All right. Spent half my career that way in the WWE. All right, let's go to Seattle. The Mariners, a win total of 84.5. That pitching staff alone can carry them there. I think Cal Raleigh is a great catcher, can hit you 30 home runs. Brian Wu, Munoz in the back end of that bullpen. Talk to me about the M's.
Gonna hit. All right, we know, listen, even though George Kirby's probably out all of April here, hopefully he's back in May. Get him a little later in your draft. By the way, don't forget about him, but there is some worry there. We know they can pitch. All right, Gilbert's a Cy Young candidate here. Bryce Miller, a dark horse, also of Cy Young. You mentioned Wu, Castillo, pitching up the wazoo. Bullpen's going to be good. Mm-hmm. They just don't hit. Can Julio Rodriguez show up for your fantasy team before June? All right, because he always takes the first couple of months off. Right, he's as a second-half player here, but that kills fantasy teams here. I agree with what you said about Cal Raleigh. And who else is going to step up offensively? All right, who else? Rosarino was a bust since he came over last year. Can he hit this year? Crawford, Polanco. They're a batter too short, like so many teams.
All right, now let's go to a team that I think is going to be a lot of fun from a fantasy and a wagering perspective. The Sacramento Athletics, can I call them that? These here Athletics. Win total of 71.5. I think on just excitement alone, they beat that. Guys like Brent Rooker and Tyler Soderstrom, and I think even Jeffrey Springs brings something to this team that most people overlook.
Actually, they are just the Athletics. You cannot call them the Sacramento Athletics, Mr. Striker. By the way, I keep looking on the Sacramento whenever I look for them. Like, it's just the Athletics. Got to keep remembering that. And they're wearing a Las Vegas patch. It's just weird situation. Whatever. Yeah, it's strange. Whatever. But they are a fun team. I'm right with you there. Now, I don't think they're making the playoffs. All right, but I think Rooker, mentioned on the show yesterday with Craig, that I think he's a dark horse. Not even really a dark horse, but a sleeper to win most home runs in the American League. All right, Judge takes any kind of a step back. That ball's going to fly out in Sacramento. This is not the cold, damp, humid, or deep, thick marine air in Oakland. This is Sacramento playing some day games, even night. Ball's going to travel a lot. It's a home run hitting haven here. A lot of overs coming here when they play in Sacramento here. So I like Rooker maybe to hit 40-plus home runs. I think people are a little sleeping on Zach Gelof. I understand the average is going to hurt you, but he can hit. All right. I think he'll have a rebound here. I think he's going to hit 25, 30 home runs as well here. Langoliers, a catcher, can help you here. A lot of guys who can hit here. They're a fun little team here. I think they're going to win 75 games somewhere around there as they want to get good going into Vegas.
All right. Now let's stretch our legs and really put on our analyst's cap and talk about the Los Angeles Angels. 71.5 is the win total. Yohan Moncada is on this team. Ben Joyce throws fire. He's waiting in the wings to be a closer. George, I'm not even going to waste your time. I just don't see much fantasy value here. I'm sorry, Angels fans, but I do see a good way to pick on them. And we'll talk about that and more when we return. National League is coming up. Matt and George. More FST.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back into FST Fantasy Sports today. Matt and George with you here, and I got to tell you, man, we're having a great time. I don't know if it's that baseball is you can smell it. I remember as a kid that first day busting through the door, you knew you didn't have to wear a jacket, or they let you out of recess at school, and you could just feel that spring air. That's never lost me, and I'm very, very thankful for that. George, I'm thankful for you, my friend. We're talking now National League. We blew through the American League. You gave some great insight. Let's continue to keep that train rolling. Let's go to the National League East here, talk about these Atlanta Braves. I mean, at the end of the day, they always find a way to do it. Win total of 93.5. We can have that conversation. Everyone's going to be looking at the Acuñas when they come back and the Striders when they come back. I like Michael Harris. Just to be a part of that Atlanta offensive ecosystem is fantastic. And I think Raisel Iglesias is a closer people should target. Talk to me about the Braves, George.
Yeah, Iglesias is the first tier of closers here. By the way, closers, and they're not a lot of them. You probably want to make sure you get one lockdown closer here. And Iglesias is about number 7 of the 7, I would say, tier 1 closers here. Listen, for the Braves, it's all about Acuna and Strider. Where you should draft him. What can you expect from him? Acuna, they're saying he should show up in mid-May. And Acuna's already told you, probably not going to run, at least not with reckless abandon like he did. So if you think he's coming back, he's going to steal you 30 bases through the last 4.5 months of the season, you're probably not going to get what you want here. So be careful drafting Acuna here. Strider looks like he's going to return in mid-April. As our man behind the glass, Samuel Nell, and I would talk about during the break here. I'm on board with Strider. I think he's going to be good. Maybe not Strider, Cy Young Strider great like we were expecting last year here, but a good Strider here. So I'm not really worried about him. Braves are going to hit. Not really, like I said, Harris, Riley. These guys are going to hit there, so I'm not worried about that. Pitching, can we get another great year to Chris Sale? I think so, but I'm cautiously optimistic there. Ronaldo Lopez, Schwellen back looked great against the Yankees in his last start. What do you have, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings here? Little sleeper here. AJ Smith I can't even pronounce his name. AJ Smith Schroyer, right? Whatever his name is. I kind of like him. I think he could stick in number 5 guy there. So he's somebody you may want. You're targeting late here, but I think he's going to win that spot over Grant Holmes, over Ian Anderson.
All right, some teams are going to have more points than others. Let's continue with a bountiful plate. The Philadelphia Phillies, a win total of 91.5. I think they get there. A guy I think people should target, easily forgettable for some reason, is Trey Turner. Did we forget what this guy's capable of? Some people have. And I think Orion Kerkering, by the middle of the season, will have that closer's role. It's just a hunch. George, talking about the fighting Phils.
Yeah, it's in Phillies in my mind. And in non-Los Angeles Dodgers division, they're the best team. All right, in baseball, I think they're the second best team in baseball. Love what they've done here. Trey Turner, he has fallen somewhat. He's not a first round pick anymore. Shortstop is very deep. All right, so you can wait on shortstop if you want anyway here. I know we had Gray on yesterday. Who believes you? Don't be afraid to take two shortstops. One is your middle, two top shortstops, and put one as your middle infield here. Can't disagree. There's so many good shortstops here. My latest draft, I took Lindor in the first round. I think at 9th overall or something like that. So like I said, lots of good shortstops. Philadelphia is going to be great here. Turner. Schwarber, who's in the contract year, Harper. These guys they're going to mesh, and especially in that bandbox of a ballpark. Pitching staff, Zach Wheeler. I probably, Nola, Sanchez, Suarez hurt. I want to take a look at him before you draft Luzardo. It's a good deep team here, right? Really good, really deep here. We'll see what Jordan Romano can do at closer. He's in that tier 2 guy. I think he can do some damage here, but not quite positive.
All right, love it. You mentioned Lindor. Let's talk about the Nye Mets. They are my favorite squadron. They are not. That's a Simpsons reference. I'm a Cardinal fan. We'll get to them. The New York Mets, 90.5. How? Who's going to throw the ball? Out of all the targets, Soto, Alonso. I like Mark Vientos this year as a breakout. And I also like Holmes as a starting pitcher. Ground ball pitchers are few and far between, and they can be valuable. Talk to me about the Mets.
You already said it. The Mets are the 80s Yankees. They're going to score a truckload of runs, and they're going to give up a truckload of runs. All right, we're talking 9-7. A lot of 9-7 games here coming from the Mets here. I love all their offensive players. Vientos, by the way, I'm on board as well. Soto's great. Alonso's going to hit more than 35 home runs that he hit last year. Nemo, a little worried about all these leg injuries here. All right, so I'm probably staying away from him in drafts. I think Brett Beatty could be a breakout guy. I think Vientos sort of broke out last year, didn't he? So I think I'll go with Brett Beatty to be that guy. But can they pitch? Yeah, Matt, I love Clay Holmes. How many innings is he giving you? All right, he's a closer. You're putting him at starter here. Cody Senga, what is he giving you? Guy pretty much didn't pitch last year. And then you got McGill, Canning, Peterson, Minaya, Montas. Minaya and Montas are both hurt. They're not going to start the season. So there's a lot of mud on the wall. The Mets need some of it to stick here. I'm going to go under their win total. I think they'll battle for a wild card with so many other teams here. I know in my bold prediction yesterday, I picked the Mets and the Yankees to both miss the playoffs. It's a bold prediction. I doubt they'll both miss, but I doubt they'll both make it also.
Wow, love it. All right, George, here we go. I'm always looking for that next team to take the next step, and I think I found them here. The Washington Nationals. The win total of 72.5. I think they can beat that. Guys like Garcia, who put bat to ball, really intriguing. Michael Soroka could really bounce back, take a chance. Kyle Finnegan, again, no one's going to be taking him. He could give you 28 to 35 saves. Talk about the Nats.
The goal for me for this show was to drive our producer, Sam, crazy here. And Sam's a Washington Nationals fan. So I really don't want to say anything nice about the Nationals. Nothing. That being said, I also agree. I think they do take the next step. Now, when I say that, it's not a playoff step. It's just they're in their next progression here. They're going to be better. All right. I'm a big James Wood guy. I think I've said on a million shows, whether it's Game Time, In-Game, Rage. 17.5 is his home run total. If he doesn't hit that by mistake, when he mishits a ball, it's going to go out. He should crush that win total. I think he has to get hurt not to reach that. I'm a Dylan Cruz guy as well here. I'd like to see him get the ball in the air more. If you want to go advanced analytics there, he's not getting the ball in the air enough. That's why hitting more singles than extra base hits. Hopefully he can make that adjustment here. CJ Abrams, get your head out of your arse, and you'll be a better player here than what you were doing last year, but he's a really good player as well. Pitching, Gore's legit. All right, and we just need it to keep coming along here. That's what waiting for this the Scherzers, the Strasburgs. They're good youngsters to come up here. This is what they're lacking here. But I like the direction the Nationals are heading.
Folks, I hope you're having as much fun out there as we are here at SportsGrid and at SportsGrid TV. Social media handles, hit us up. Talking with George Kurtz, the veteran fantasy baseball player and wagerer. Talking about the National League East here. And now we land on Craig Mish's Miami Marlins, a win total of 63.5. Again, pitching used to be their strength. Now I don't see how they're getting there. But if you want some steals, a guy like Xavier Edwards at the top of the order could be in line. Maybe Otto Lopez for some second base help. But George, fill the time talking about the fish. 2 minutes worth. You don't need to fill it all. I have more questions. Don't worry. Exactly.
Okay, listen. Alcantara's back. Listen, he looks great. And once again, Matt, is he pitching for Miami at the deadline? I don't think so.
Yankee.
I hope you're right, but I don't. The Yankees don't have the prospects for him. Right? Listen. I've been tweaking Craig every chance I get. Oh, so Alcantara is going to the Yankees. Yankees don't have the prospects for it. They just don't. All right. I don't even think Spencer Jones and George Lombard get the deal done. There's not much in the Yankee system. At least at the top of the system after that. But he's definitely pitching for somebody. And no, it won't be for the Dodgers, by the way. For those who think, I don't think so. Anyway, they don't need more pitching there. But he's pitching for somebody else at the by the deadline here. I believe that's going to be the case here. A shame. All their good young pitchers, the Cabreras, the Myers, the Perez's, they got hurt and they didn't become those guys because this is a team that drafted those guys to be one hell of a rotation and will piece together offense. Now those guys got hurt. You have no offense whatsoever here. And it's Alcantara bust. Right, that's what it is. Ryan Weathers got hurt. We talked that at the beginning of the show here. He's going to be out for a bit. Shame because, like I said, whatever it is, it's like a disease in Miami. Their pitchers get hurt here. So the whole question about the Miami, and if you're a fan of the Marlins, I always feel bad for you, is where does Alcantara end up?
But you said disease. Have you been to South Beach, George? I don't want to talk about it, but there was this time when I was a younger man. We have some time left. On the other side, we're going to talk to
Penicillin, Mike. Penicillin, Matt.
Thank you very much. And then we're also going to talk about George's early season betting strategies. I'm going to try to go wash my hands after this comment. But folks, I'm telling you, this is where it's at. If you have drafts coming up, I hope you have a little pen and paper. If you still use it, you're taking little notes. If not, at SportsGrid and at SportsGrid TV, everything George is saying, it lives there and it's absolute gold. More gold when we come back on FST.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back into FST Fantasy Sports today, Matt and George, and just some inside baseball, if you will. As we're being counted back in, our producer gives us, 5, 4, 3, and then he says hot mics, which means the mics are open. And every time he says that, and I'm working with George, I kind of tighten up a little bit Because a hot mic with George Kurtz, I mean, it could either be viral and great for the show, or it could be a virus and really bad for everyone. We're going to find out, George. And you mentioned penicillin. We'll keep that on hand. Let's talk about the National League Central here and go to these Chicago Cubs. A lot of people are really on this team. A win total I see here of 85.5. That's actually low if you can get that jump on it. I think they have the pitching to do it, and I think they have the prospects, the young guys that are ready to hit now. I mean, the Crow Armstrongs, the Shaws. Pitching I mentioned is Imanaga and Steele. George, talk to me about these Cubbies.
I said we saw them for 2 games of the Tokyo series, right? No, they were less than impressive. I'm not going to judge the Cubs on 2 games, especially against the Dodgers. All right, what are you going to do here? I understand, Matt, why they're the favorite. I get it. It's not a great division. Eva Central is a great division here, but this team's very unimpressive. Outside of Imanaja, who I'm a fan of, I mean, Steele, he got wrecked in game 2. He kept throwing meatballs there. Italian, Boyd. Hey, by the way, you can always tell how I judge a team what your starting staff look like. You know, and it's an average staff at best here. They pick up Presley. He's going to be your closer. Fine, tier 2 closer there. Offense, I do think they needed another bat here. Bregman would have looked nice there, you know, but they couldn't get it done here. And I don't blame them, by the way. $40 million a year that Boston gave him, I wouldn't have paid him that either. We'll see if Bush can take a step up here. We'll see what Matt Shaw, who's taking over at third base, looked really good defensively. Made a nice couple of sharp plays against the Dodgers. We'll see what he can do offensively. They need Swanson to step up. Peter Crow Armstrong to take that next step. Kyle Tucker, he's a star. Will he be a star from day one in Wrigley? All right, so we'll see how that becomes. They need him to be that guy he was in Houston. And I don't know if you're going to get that, Matt. I don't know how you feel, but I always get a little nervous about taking guys who get traded from one team to another, especially in different leagues, too. I know it doesn't mean as much now in the interleague play here, but I always get nervous about these guys, and I don't have many shares of any of Kyle Tucker.
I hear you. I think Tucker's hit tool plays. I just think in some of those less desirable months in Wrigley, no one's hit tool plays. All right, this next team, I believe, is winning this division. They are the Milwaukee Brewers, a win total of 83.5. I think with the pitching staff that they'll have come July, they're going to crush it. Brandon Woodruff comes back healthy, and you watch this team go. Jackson Churio is a young phenom. I think Contreras is perhaps the 1-1 catcher off the board. But, George, I'll let you take it over. Talk to me about the Brew Crew.
I don't think they're going to win the division. That being said, I might say that about every team in this division. Chicago, I don't think they're going to win. Cincinnati, I don't think they're going to win. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, I'm positive they're not going to win. This is no great team here for me, but someone will step up. Agree with you about Contreras, 1-1 fine. Listen, love Churio. He's great too. Draft him anywhere. But that's the problem, isn't it? Who else? I want nothing to do with Yelich. All right, the back, no. I don't know what his over-under is. I'll give it at 110 games. All right, and I'll probably take the under there. Don't know how much you're going to get from him. Outside of Peralta, what else can you rely on here? Okay, Peralta's a nice SP2. Woodruff, I wanted to come back and be good, but first year back, not pitching a year and a half. Nope, I'm not betting on that. Nestor Cortez will be great for half a year. And then he'll struggle. Once again, not built to make 32 starts there. We'll see what they get out of Savali here. A lot has to go right for Milwaukee. That being said, they're in the right division. So if you're telling me they won the division, I'm not shocked here. I'm just not betting on it.
I got it. Well said, George. All right. Smiles abound. Let's go to Cincinnati here. A win total I see of 78.5. Terry Francona is your manager. Let's make that 80 immediately. I like Matt McClain just because I kind of want to be near Ellie De La Cruz. And I like Nick Lodolo a lot. I think he's the guy that takes the next step here from the pitching staff. Talking about the Red Legs.
Yeah, I'm hoping I was a year off on the Reds. I was on them last year to make the playoffs. Didn't happen. Went back to them this year. I sort of agree with you. Francona, great addition here, a great manager. I think they do get their over win total. I have a ticket on that. Again, for them, good young team. Can those young players play? You know, Matt McClain, yeah, I'm on board here. Ken Marte, Gavin Lux here. You go on and on and on with these guys. Friedel, Steer, who's going to start the season on the IL, by the way. Candelario. Like what they can give you offensively, especially in that small ballpark. Pitching, outside of Hunter Green, who's an SP2, they don't give you a lot of top-end guys, but they have depth there. You know, can they get through a long season and keep you in games? They don't need to be great. The offense should score runs here, but can they keep you in games? Diaz, Edwin's brother there, Alexis, we'll see what he can do at closer as well. He's up, down, up, down, up, down. Mm-hmm. Sort of a low tier, tier 2, whatever. He's a tier 2, low ball tier at closer yes. for the Reds here.
Keep an eye on Graham Ashcraft. Should Diaz falter, he may be an interesting get. All right, let's go to the Pittsburgh Pirates here. 77.5 is the win total. I think if Oniel Cruz is healthy, he and Brian Reynolds are a great 1-2 punch. I think Jared Jones is a nice compliment to Paul Skeens. George, what do you say?
Well, Jared Jones most likely is gone for the year. All right. They were sort of waiting for that bad news to happen here. For those who don't know, he came out of his start, I want to say about 5 days ago with the elbow. They said he wouldn't pitch anymore. Then he's going for a second opinion. All right. If you're going for a second opinion, that's generally not good news. If you're getting good news, your elbow's fine. You're not going for a second opinion. Generally, you have a tear and you need to go for a second opinion. So we'll see, but I don't expect, and I drafted him, so I'm waiting for that bad news to happen there. I was hoping they would call up Chandler to replace him, but they're not going to do that. Maybe they're playing a service time game. We'll see at some point. I had high hopes, Matt, for the Pirates because of Skeens, because of Jones. And they throw Chandler in there. No one could match that in baseball. No one could match that. But then they added nobody on offense. This team sucks. All right. Add some offensive players here. How is Tommy Pham your leadoff hitter? And I love Andrew McCutchen, by the way, but how's your cleanup guy? All right. It's just no. It's just no. It's frustrating that they didn't add more. Bad ownership here. Just bad ownership. And by the way, I will hope the best for Jared Jones. But I think you could expect the worst.
All right, Salty George, with the time that we have left, let's talk about the St. Louis Cardinals, a win total of 77.5. Cardinal baseball can push us over that. Mason Wynn is going to revolutionize this franchise. Maybe if you like a ground ball pitcher, Andre Palante, but what do you like or don't like about the Birds before the break?
They need to make up their mind about what they wanted to do, right? It seems like they got a little screwed here because Sonny Gray wouldn't give up his no trade. Same thing with Arenado to the 5 teams. They wanted to move on from these guys, but they couldn't do it. So they know they need to rebuild. They need their young players, sort of like the Miami Marlins, whose young pitchers always get hurt. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals, all those young players, the Walkers, Gormans, Domans, they haven't become the guys we thought they would become. They need that to happen.
All right, we're going to make the NL West happen when we return. More FST after this.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back into FST Fantasy Sports today. My producer, Sam Why the Sports Guy, says, have fun, Matt, as he counts me in. And What else do we ever do on this show is have fun. Talking to the wonderful, fun George Kurtz, looking at the National League West now. George, very quickly, because everyone knows we don't need expert analysis about the Los Angeles Dodgers. Win total of 103.5. Everyone thinks they're going to smash that. I like Will Smith as a target. Everyone can look for everyone else, but let's give me a quick blurb about the Dodgers and get to some other teams here in the West.
All right, so listen, we know the Dodgers are great here. So Mookie Betts, right, he missed the Tokyo series, lost 15 pounds. I'm not really worried about him. I would still draft him in the first round, although I'll admit I did stay away from him in my recent draft. I think I had a top 6 pick, and normally I would take him at 6. I did not, so I let that go here. Freddie Freeman, I am more worried about here with the intercostal injury. That's the same thing he had in October. It has not gone away, so it's hard to stay away from Freeman because first base is shallow. There's only like 4 or 5 of them. After that, it's death. So just proceed with caution here at first base. The pitching staff, I don't know if any of these guys are going to throw more than 120, 130 innings. All right, so you're drafting Snell, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow. Snell would be my best bet to throw the most innings, but even that I have worries about it. So once again, proceed with caution. If someone wants to take these guys in round 3, let them. All right, move on. Get guys who are going to give you more innings, especially if you think of counting stats like strikeouts, like wins. It's going to be tough to get. Quality starts could be a problem with all of these Dodgers starting pitchers if you're in a league with quality starts here. So listen, Dodgers are great. I'm on their ticket to get over 103.5 as well. Also played over, I think Gabe took me to playing over 110.5. It was 109.5. So that's more of a fun one here. But the Dodgers are going to win a truckload of games this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, briskly moving through the NL West, just taking 1 or 2 points on each team with the legendary George Kurtz. Let's go to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Win total of 86.5. They have an amazing pitching staff, and wherever their closer role lands, A.J. Puk, Justin Martinez, they're going to be good. Where's the offense? George?
I think they're going to listen. You lost Christian Walker. You bring in Naylor here. I think they'll be fine. Ketel Marte. I don't just give you another MVP like season here, but I think he'll be very good as well. Not really worried about the Diamondbacks' deep pitching staff here. You mentioned Martinez, though he hasn't been named as closer. They did extend him as well. I think he's your guy. I think the Diamondbacks, if there was a normal Dodger team, the Diamondbacks might actually compete to win this division. If not, because of the Dodgers, they'll be a wild card team.
A normal Dodger team. I love it. George has had some gems in the first hour. We're not even done. Let's continue it going here. The San Diego Padres. 83.5 is their win total. The pitching staff and the bullpen, I think, can get you there. And I like Luis Arraez. I grew up in a time of Wade Boggs and Tony Gwynn. And Arraez is a throwback to that. George, talk about the dads.
Yes, he is a throwback to that, right? It's an empty batting average. It's really what it is here. And listen, for fantasy, that's fine. We need to protect our average. And Arraez, by the way, allows you to draft guys who are going to bat 210 and hit 9,000 home runs, which we saw. I sort of understand that. So don't forget about Arraez. Position flexibility he has as well here, so something that can help you there. They need Bogarts to be the guy we thought he was going to become, right? Machado's going to be fine. We know he's going to hit. Not worried about him. Pitching staff, Yu Darvish, right? He's going to start the season on the IL. I'm probably avoiding. When I say that, by the way, no one's undraftable. If he's available in round 18, I'll take him. But I'm not looking to get Darvish for price, for name value. Let someone else take that problem.
Yep, I like it a lot. Okay, let's continue with the Sands, this time to Francisco. I think they win more than 80.5 games. Their pitching staff dictates that, as does their home ballpark. I mentioned Arraez as a hitter. Jung-Ho Lee is another representation of that. And I like Jordan Hicks from the Cardinals, converted closer, now stretched out to be a starter. Talk about the Gents.
All right, you mentioned Lee. He's banged up as well here. He missed most of last season with the injury. No thanks. Someone else can have him. To get there, the win total you want them to get to, Adames needs to hit probably 30 home runs, which if he pulls the ball, can do so. He's going to hit the ball to right center, not so much here. Matt Chapman needs to continue his revival here and be that guy, which I think he will be. So their offense should be better because you've added Adames, but it's not going to be great. So they need that pitching staff to really step up here. Logan Webb, quality start guy. Verlander, once again, don't draft him on name. And listen, for me, he's someone else's problem. I don't think I've got any shares of Verlander. I do like Robbie Ray, though. Let's not forget about that. He was really good before TJ. Really, and I think he will have a rebound here. Hicks, Birdsong, once again, fillers later on in your roster.
Hayden Birdsong, one of the many fun names to say this coming season. The Colorado Rockies with 58.5 as their win total. Not even going to bother George with this, but Michael Toglia is a guy that we should be looking at. I was looking at Thairo Estrada, but he fractured a bone somewhere in his hand or wrist about 3 days ago. He's out for 4 to 8 weeks. But other than that, that's how we're wagering on the Rockies here. I don't know if they can hit their win total because, honestly, I think George and I could be SP 4 and 5 respectively on that team. We're not, but we could be. More FSD when we come back.